Hello, friends. It's time for Talk for Dodge, the show that uncovers the stories behind the houses in the heart of our community. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and today we are here with Scott Kirkhart. And Scott, can you tell us about yourself?
Well, hi, I'm Scott Kirkhart. I'm from Manson, Iowa. I'm 48. I got two wonderful kids that are both going to Iowa State University.
Go Cyclones!
Yeah,
whoa.
And I'm a Hawkeye fan. I don't know if you guys knew that. But I'm a musician. I'm a full-time musician. I worked for FedEx for 20 years. And when my son graduated high school, I just said, you know what? It's time for me to go out and play and try to do something that I've always wanted to do and never regret it, right? Yep. Especially after COVID. So I was like, I'm going to do this. So I did it. And here I am. Yeah, it's been great.
How long have you been a full-time musician?
3 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
It really is an accomplishment. Everybody, you always hear when you're a kid, you're like, do something you love, and you won't know you're working a day in your life. And,
right.
you know, after 20 years at FedEx, to be able to say, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something I love. And, yeah, now I got to work every weekend and every night. And,
right. Yeah, now I think I work. Yeah,
hours are 2 in the morning.
I work way longer than I did when I worked at FedEx and just went home, right? I mean, now it's all the time. Emails, social media, you know.
And you get paid every time with benefits.
Right, yeah. Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wouldn't change anything at all. Like, it's not a job. I'm just enjoying my life, and it's who I am, right? And so that's what we're doing.
Awesome. And you did talk about black's your favorite color. So
black is my favorite color, yeah.
Keep asking.
It's slimming, right?
Think of the Johnny Cash, the Man in Black here. You know.
Well,
Man in Black.
Do you wear it for the poor and beaten down?
No, not necessarily. I think that's just, I either have Hawkeye clothes, I have Broken Strings clothes, or I have Kirkhart clothes, and they're all in black or gray, right? I mean, let's be honest.
That's awesome. How did your musical journey begin? Or when?
Well, it started in high school. I started in junior high, really. I started playing drums, and I was a drummer all through high school. I was a 3-time state jazz band drummer. And then I went to Iowa Central, and I played drums there. And then one day, all of a sudden, I just said, you know what? I'm not playing drums anymore. I'm tired of it. I don't want to play anymore. And so I quit, and I had kids and got married, and it was right after 9/11. I decided, I had a buddy who was stuck in Florida because nobody could fly anywhere, obviously. And so he called me and he says, hey man, if I ever get back home, let's buy guitars and learn how to play guitar. So music found me again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I taught myself over the years as my kids were growing up, I taught myself how to play guitar and joined a band, I think, when the kids were like 15 years old, doing stuff on the weekend. You know, they're at the age now that I don't have to be there all the time, and they don't want to hang around dad anymore, right?
No, they don't.
I did. I started playing in a band called Sweet and Lowdown, and then the next thing you know, I was in another band. Then I ended up trying out for Salty Views, which is a local band in Fort Dodge, you know. Yeah. And Tim's amazing. Tim Salter's amazing. I've learned the music business so much from him. You know,
we talked a little bit about this the other day, how he taught you how to work a crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Because music isn't just standing up there playing a playlist. There's more to it.
They have to like you, right?
Yeah, you have to make them like you.
There you go.
I mean, we're all musicians, right? I mean, there's so many good musicians out there. But when you start working a crowd and then, you know, people start interacting with you, and that's a memorable experience to them.
Yes. And
they're going to keep coming back for more, and bars are going to keep hiring you because of that reason, or music venues, and you know, and it's just in the past, I've been doing that the last 10 years, I think, pretty much almost full time, you know, besides I was doing music every weekend and then working at FedEx, and now I'm just doing music and everything else that I'm involved in. And it's been a journey, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, to be able to make enough money to make a living playing music is not easy, because I mean, and you know, Shiny Top, and you know, we can only afford to pay so much because we're only making so much that night. And, you know, you're like, okay, there's an equation to that.
There is.
And you know, everybody's got to go in and make that work. And thank God we have Shelley Bodorf to help us, you know, put all those together and keep things flowing. And of course, Shelley knows everybody. She was one of our first guests, and
Shelley does great.
I think she still has the most amount of views. So.
Yeah, she's cool.
Does she really? See if I can knock her off the totem pole there. I can't wait for this.
She's like, if you're bored in Fort Dodge, call me and I'll tell you what to do. I got 60 things every month.
But like working the crowd, you know, I learned that from one radio, because I started working radio when I was 16 years old at KTLB Twin Lakes when it was out at Twin Lakes yet, and we had to go off the air at noon. At 10 o'clock at night, I had to read the nightly news and then play the Star Spangled Banner, and then you'd hear for the rest of the night. It
Until what, 6 o'clock?
5 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
When they get on and do the markets, and I think it was.
Am I the only one to remember that on TV? You'd watch the news and then the national anthem.
Yeah. No, you're not the only one that remembers that. That does show my age, maybe, but.
Gosh, you guys are old.
Me too. Yeah, terrible.
But no, that's kind of what started it. And I learned from Mike Perry used to own the radio station, K97.
Yep.
And Mike was a wild man. Like he knew his business, the radio business he knew. And he knew how to get a crowd involved and how to, so I learned from him and watching them guys do DJ work and Come Alive at Fives and all that kind of stuff that they used to do, Yep. And that was incredible back then. I was 17, 18 years old when this was going on,
Learning from some of the best in the business at the time.
Yeah, at the time, absolutely. I didn't know what I was. It was the greatest job as a teenager could ever have.
And it was still, awesome. Was it record player still or
when I started KTOB, we had record players, and then they didn't do cassettes at all. They went from records to like CDs.
Okay.
And then you could track a CD. When you started tracking CDs, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And then our commercials were all on carts.
Yep.
Where we had to put the cart in the cart machine and hit play, and you actually had to do stuff. Now the computer does it all for you.
Or on every Tuesday. And it's kind of funny how he's just like, everything just happens. He goes, we have 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Yeah. So, get comfortable.
So we sit here and talk for 2 minutes, and he's like, you got 5 seconds. Headphones on. Let's go.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's crazy to see how the business has changed in the radio business, over the years. And especially with satellite radio and all that other stuff. And I mean, it's just gotten unreal.
Yeah. Technology's taken it to a whole nother level.
Oh, completely, yeah.
I think I saw a TikTok or something of people at a movie theater, and the screen came up like it was on a regular TV, like a Roku TV, and they're like, what in the world is going on? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, if you ever watch your kid, when we were kids, you put telephone up like this. Now kids, when they talk on the telephone, they do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a smartphone and it's flat. When we were there, the phone looked like that. So it's just dumb stuff like that that's changed over the years that you're like, this is weird.
Or the 20-foot cord that we used to have on our phone, at home.
Mom, get off the phone.
Yeah. Mom, quit listening.
Around the wall. So, Scott, what genre are you in? And is there any artists out there that have influenced you over the years?
Sure. I'm mainly country. I'm a little bluesy-ish, by all means.
Okay.
I think that goes into my writing that I do when I write my own stuff, and I can hear it in my guitar playing. But I also learn from people watching like Jeremy Ober and Chris Carr, and and those guys are pretty bluesy-ish.
Yeah, they are.
And and then you learn, because we learn that from like the Allman Brothers. That's probably one of my favorite bands still to this day to listen to, with the Hammond organ, and those guys were just incredible musicians altogether. And a lot of that music I grew up on. And then as far as country goes, well, of course you have your Garth Brooks and your 90s country.
Yep.
But now some of the writers in the newer country, the writing is so incredible, and how they're coming up with these different kind of lyrics and intertwining and telling stories the way they tell story in country music. That's what I love about country music.
Yep. I love 90s country. It's the only thing I listen to.
Yeah. And it's, you know what? When I play it at gigs, everybody's singing along every single song with
Everybody knows every word.
Every bit of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Got to put some Friends in Low Places up there so everybody can.
Should have been a cowboy, that's one of those that everybody in the whole bar. And if you get the crowd working into it, hey, I need everybody to listen. I want Toby Keith himself in heaven is going to hear you at the top of your lungs, and then you back away from the microphone and let the crowd sing it. Yeah. That's all you got to do, right? And the crowd loves it, right? And that's what they do.
Joyce and I were at a piano bar the other day, dueling piano bar.
Yeah, those are fun.
And the first couple up there, they kind of did some weird songs and they have their requests, and then the new guy comes up and he's like, Friends in Low Places. Everybody knows every word. It gets the whole crowd into it. All of a sudden, people start flowing up there, and you just get those old songs that you knew. He also played Jerry Lewis, or never heard before.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable.
Some of those piano players are really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch them, and I play a little piano maybe, but I'm not fluent in piano whatsoever. Guitar, yes. Drums, yes. I still play on jam nights and stuff.
Yep.
But piano, that's a whole. Boy, I love watching a good piano player, though.
Oh yeah, they're a lot of fun. Shelley does a great job.
Oh yeah.
Anytime she's up there, and you get to listen to her play, and she does everything from country to classical to.
And she's got a voice like an angel on top of it too. So
she does.
There's a lot of talented musicians. Fort Dodge is so blessed because let me tell you what, I've played on Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. I've played in Las Vegas. I've played from the Boundary Waters, and I'm going to Florida this winter to play for a month. And there are so many talented musicians just from around this area that have branched out or are just in this area still alone.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
You look at musical
was it like
theater.
this 10 years ago?
Historically, Fort Dodge area has been loaded with amazing musicians.
And then it kind of died down in the bar scene for a lot of years. And I'm not going to take full credit, but when Shiny stopped...
80s got weird, right? Yeah.
When Shiny stopped doing it every Thursday, he started doing live music, and Nate and I committed to, I don't care what this costs, we're going to do it every Thursday.
Yeah.
Everybody else started, okay, you're going to do it Thursday, we're going to do Friday, we're going to do Saturday. And now every weekend, from Thursday to Sunday.
And there's full houses in most places that people are playing. And I mean, there's always something to do in Fort Dodge.
Yeah.
Always. And I've talked to some of the higher ups in the government here at Fort Dodge, and I said, I wish Fort Dodge would take that music scene that we do have and even make it even bigger, because you could have on this old historic downtown and stuff like that, you could have some really cool places and live music during the summertime on the gazebo in the park. I mean, anything like that.
Weren't they doing that a couple of years ago at Olson, like every Sunday?
Oh, they showed movies. They've done a lot of stuff.
In Olson Park?
Yeah, the Olson Park. They've done it different places. Yeah. And they really need to concentrate on that downtown area and make it more of a Broadway or something like that. And
I think so. I think they could do very well with it.
Yeah.
And there's room for it here. And it's everybody's like, oh, it's just Fort Dodge, Iowa. Right, but we're 25,000 strong, right? I mean, there's a lot of music lovers around.
Well, and for so many years, I mean, you look back at, I was in the musicals in high school in the 90s, 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
The musicals that they used to put on there in full blown, Oklahoma, Into the Woods. I mean, you go through and they've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
But that created such a passion for music in everyone at such a young age. I mean, since the 60s, that flowed over into, all the different musical theaters we have and all the different live music and all the other stuff. So, I mean, you really look at the stuff that's happened over what we've built since the 60s, through the closing of Hormel and IBP, through, the growth back up after that, to the closing of Tate and Lyle, when everybody thought that was going to take off. And you just saw the ups and downs, and it's really built into something cool over the years that you don't see everywhere else.
Right. And there's, like I said, there's music every weekend.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I listen to the music update on
and not only just Fridays and Saturdays. It starts Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And then goes through Thursday nights and then Friday nights, and it's incredible. I don't play in Fort Dodge. I mean, I play often, but not often enough. And I try to branch further out, and I'm going further out. But this is always home. So when I do come here, and it's like, it feels, there's such a good feeling to be back home, or even going to a jam night around here or anything, and being with those other musicians that are friends of mine, and being able to sit there and be able to play absolutely anything and just get so involved with the way they are. That's incredible in itself. I mean, and that's just here in Fort Dodge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many talented musicians. We got to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a blessed area here for that right there.
Yeah, we really are. It's cool to see.
And then if you're a young and upcoming person and you want to shine, that's great.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know a couple of booking agents from Des Moines area, and they're like, Fort Dodge musicians, right? And they're like, yep, right, yep, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
We got that Spencer kid that plays at Shiny Top. Started playing at Shiny Top. He's the country. Got the big cowboy hat.
Yeah.
The bean pole, but my God, he can sing.
He's a good kid.
He was
too.
in there the other day. He was making pizzas for us. Where he was, and finally he goes, I play music, and it's like, well, stage right there.
Somebody, Jaden, who works there,
yeah,
says, hey, can Spencer get up and play? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Come on up. And here's this kid. He's nervous, right? And I was like, but man, he's got that old George Strait soul. He's got that old style country music. And I'm like, there's not many people that do that. And being a younger kid and then doing that, that's incredible.
Well, and he's lived the life too, because he's a cowboy too. I mean, really, rodeos, the whole 9 yards.
He wears the jeans and the boots and the belt buckle and everything else to go along with it.
And he earned the belt buckle.
Absolutely.
He didn't buy it.
He earned it.
Yeah, he's a good kid. The whole family's
Bucked
great.
off a coward.
Yeah. Yes. But it's been so much fun having him there and kind of seeing that. And, you get to see people grow.
Evan Pratt's another one. Look at all of a sudden he came up, he just graduated high school, and it's just, wow. It's fun watching as an older musician, and I am an older musician, but like Gene Walker and those guys they raised us up, from the ski band
Gene's
days.
still in a band?
Yeah. Gene is in a band. MGCC. Sorry, that's right.
Okay.
Yep. And then and then he's a great bass player. Mm-hmm. Incredible. He's in the pocket all the time. He's still to this day, and he loves doing music. He comes up to jam nights. That's when I see him. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think they get out and play really all that much.
I don't think they do either, but I know there's a couple of them that have asked me before. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, give Shelly a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get in there because it's cool.
But they're great. Gene raised us up, and the ski band raised Phil and Dean, and all those guys. And now I guess
Dean Davis, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe it's our turn. Maybe it's our turn to raise up the next ones.
There you go. Take them under your wing and say, this is the next generation.
That's
and we
what we
want to
do.
keep this.
Love Bomb is out there. Have you guys met Love Bomb yet?
No.
Oh, you need to meet Love Bomb. It's just a couple of kids or 3 kids. And they're, anyway, when I first met them, I think they were from 14 to 16 years old. And they do the music that you and I grew up on, like, some of that grunge kind of music. And these kids are fun to watch. They try their hardest.
Yeah.
Right? And if I started that early of an age, I can't imagine.
Oh, what you'd be playing now.
What they would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they keep going. And they're having fun. And it's fun to watch them. It really is.
I got to call Shelly.
Love
Shelly,
Bomb.
if you're listening, Love Bomb.
She knows what Love Bomb is. I promise you, she knows it's Love Bomb.
So when did you start writing music?
Oh, that's about 6 years ago.
Okay.
Well, seriously, writing like 6 years ago. I maybe did a couple songs when I was learning, but they weren't very good.
Did they pick up checks?
Yeah, and when you're at a campfire, right?
A campfire and shower where it sounds good.
Yes.
So here's my song idea. I've told other people about it. They've never wrote it, but I spent 20 years in law enforcement between, working I was an MP in the Army, worked at the prison for 20 years, and every time we go in a restaurant, I have to have my back to the wall. And that's one of those things when you're in the law enforcement industry, anything like that, military, same way. You kind of gotta know what's going on behind you. If I don't have my back to the wall, it has to be somebody across from me that I trust. So if I trust you enough to have my back to everybody else, my wife's not one of those people. She pays attention to nothing. But if I am willing to have my back to a crowd and you're sitting across from me, that's somebody I trust. So a song talking about having your back to the wall because, you've lived that lifestyle that you can't have your back to people. And
Back to the wall. We could probably figure something out.
There you go. If I need to sing with you, I can.
Yeah, that would be
I've got to practice a little bit.
But we can do it.
That's always been my song idea because I'm like, everybody I know in law enforcement and the military knows about if I go into a restaurant or I go anybody else, I have to have my back to the wall.
That's how a song starts. That's how I start one. Is most of the time I hear somebody say something. Like I'm always listening. Even though Tammy may not believe that I am.
Joyce doesn't think I listen.
Some of it's selective.
I promise you, I'm listening.
But I've got every exit scoped out, and I know anybody that might be armed.
That's how I got my song Moonshine in Mason Jars. Because somebody was talking about a wedding. They're like, let's put on the koozie. We go together like Moonshine in Mason Jars. I was like, that's kind of cool. And the next thing I know, a song came out about it.
Yep.
You know, I mean, just different things that you hear. Old guitars and broke down trucks. That's a song that I've written, I don't know, a while ago, and I'm not quite done with it yet. But I heard that somewhere, old guitars and broke down trucks. I'm like, wow, that sounds like a musician life right there, you know.
It's cool
but it
here.
says anything about mamas.
Yeah, I mean, you can do
getting
anything.
drunk.
Yeah, but anything.
You're gonna write the perfect country and western song.
You could go a bro country, you know, and talk about sitting on tailgate trucks and sitting by a campfire, or you could do a love song, you know, or how she broke your heart, and all that stuff, because that's what country music is.
Well, yeah, Toby Keith used to take gravel travel with all the guys on the bus.
Absolutely.
Could you imagine how much fun that must have been in that bus with all those guys? Like,
I tell you what,
funny songs that they came up with.
He wrote a song with Willie Nelson.
We had a concert at Frenzy, and Joe Denham brought a bunch of people down. It was, what's his name from Trick Pony? I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me later. Earl Budley, Joe was in there. And just sitting on that bus with those three people. I mean, Bud wrote Garth Brooks, Friends in Low Places.
Yep.
And then the Trick Pony, like I said, I can't think of his name. It'll come to me. But, you know, listening to those guys talk about music and the things they've done and the things they've been, and it's just so amazing. You know, oh my gosh, this is the crew to be in.
That's how some of the best songs. I mean, look at Red Solo Cup's another one.
Oh, yeah.
They were just partying. And here's the Red Solo Cup sitting there, and he's like, all right, I'm going to write a song about this solo cup here.
Yeah.
Right? You can write a song about anything, and they put it out. And then, here's a big hit.
Yeah, huge hit. We still
Huge hit, yeah. That's how it works, though. And some of the songs you absolutely think are going to be the absolute worst songs are sometimes the absolute best songs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny.
Well, you want the one anybody can sing and everybody can get along, and it brings people together, and that's, the simpler the melody, the simpler, the more limited the range is.
Right.
The easier it is to,
and it's catchy.
Yeah. Just over and over and over
again. They say that about
again.
social media. You post and you post and you post, and it's the post that you don't think is going to catch
And
fire
the
is the one that goes.
And that's always called the hook, right? You got to hook that person in a song. That's what it's called, the hook.
And finding that
That's
hook
what
is
it
tough
is.
sometimes.
Finding
That's the
that
hardest
hook.
part.
It is.
Yep. So, next question, because I kind of want to know, who would be your favorite collaboration, dream person to work with? Locally or not locally or worldwide?
Oh, boy.
Who would you be like, let's do a song together, duet?
Elvis Presley.
There you go.
I want to know what the big deal about Elvis Presley was. I love Elvis. Don't get me wrong.
no.
Right? I love Elvis Presley. I've been to Graceland 3 times and toured it, and every single time. In fact, I even wear a taking care of business chain because I love Elvis Presley music, right?
Yep.
But he never wrote us any of his stuff.
Nope.
Any of it. And every time I hear him singing, the women would just melt.
I think he could work a crowd better than everybody else. I think that was his magic.
What was the magic? And people were like, "Oh, you should have
Shaking
just
the
seen
leg.
him. You should have seen him." And I've heard this from people that actually seen him. And I was like, "Okay, well, what about it made it amazing?"
Yep.
Tell me. And was it the big production that they went on? So yeah, I think Elvis Presley would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Learn how to
Play some blues. I watched the 68 special or the comeback special or whatever it is. And he's wearing his leather outfit there, and he's got that guitar, and he's got that look and that bluesy, because all that is just blues music that he's playing. Mm-hmm.
And he could wear his white and you could wear your black.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I don't know if I'd look good in white or black leather by any means.
Black leather jumpsuit.
Black leather jumpsuit.
The bell
I
bottoms.
was like, fat man in a little coat, guys. Come on. There is no way you would ever find me in leather. I'm here to tell you right now.
Not
Tim
public
Salter?
anyway.
Tim Salter? Now, Tim would probably pull that off. He used to do it in the 80s. He'd do it again.
We'll have to ask you.
Yes, you should. Ask him about pictures about his white leather pants.
Ooh.
Oh.
I've seen them.
His white leather.
And his afro.
And his afro.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty hot.
I love that dude. I do. I really do.
What kind of projects do you have coming up next?
Oh, well, obviously we're still doing Broken Strings.
Yep. Well, tell us about Broken Strings.
We're just a nonprofit 501c3 that was started in 2021. And I took my income tax return because, I was a single dad and paying child support and worked at FedEx, didn't really have all that money, right? So I took my income tax return, and I went through the foundation group in Nashville, Tennessee. And they were basically like my accounting firm and to get all the paperwork done, and legal firm all together. And so I took that and paid in order to get my 501c3 status for Broken Strings. And then we had no money, and we started raising money and stuff and started buying guitars and giving guitars away. It was originally just going to be around Fort Dodge, and then I talked my buddy Tracy Ernst into it, who Tracy passed away since then, obviously. But after he passed away, I just said, we're going to keep doing this, and let's just do it statewide, and let's get it and do it. And I didn't realize how much work, right? I mean, this is just an idea in my head thinking, oh yeah, it would be fine. It'll be cool. Well, there's a lot of school districts in the state of Iowa. Our main goal is to give at least one kid per school district in the state of Iowa a guitar.
What is that, 200 of them? 150?
367, which is now 368 because Waukee
just split off.
Added one. So, but still, I thought that was a reachable goal. I could do all that. That's not a problem.
Yeah, a little bit of driving, we can get that done.
So, that doesn't, no. I have an amazing board of directors who takes care of all the business part of it, and I have an amazing group of musician friends that are now helping out. So when I need to go to the east side of the state, I bring guitars with me. And I give them to like Lee Klett and Mike Bernard, and then they're ambassadors of Broken Strings, and they go out and they send me stuff. We'll post it on social media, and they give the guitars away. South is the same way. West is the same way, and it's helped out tremendously because one time, two, the musicians love doing it.
Yeah,
by all means, and. So and it's gotten pretty big here in the last 8 months. I mean, it's just like a law. We were trying to find, we need more money, we need more money, and we don't have enough money. When to find time to give guitars away? How are we going to give guitars away? Are we going to go to the kids' schools? Are we going to go to their houses? Mm-hmm. Are we going to pull up with a van that says Broken Strings on the side and kids going, oh my God, yeah.
You need an RV now.
Right, yes, with a wrap and everything.
Yeah.
Anybody want to sponsor that, by the way, we're 501c3, I'm just saying.
It's a write-off.
It is, complete. But so we've been doing that. We got some big things coming up here this next year in 2025. Obviously, keep giving guitars away.
Yeah.
And it's been not only just an honor for me to do it, but it's everybody has a story.
Yes, they do.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. And I don't, whether your age or little kids, they all have a complete story. A while back I gave a guitar away, and we were supposed to meet on a Friday, and their grandma got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So they were going to go with them. And it was like a week is all she lasted. And so we had to deal with that stuff, and we gave that little girl a little bit of light, in a dark time. Mm-hmm. And that's the best stories right there. Mm-hmm. that does that. And it is emotional, it's an emotional, but it's so rewarding. And I heard a long time ago that if you do good things, you get to meet good people. And when you meet good people, you get to do more good things. And I am a complete and honest, that is the most true statement possible.
Yep.
And I hope everybody lives like that. Yeah. I hope everybody lives like that, because it's, and if you can live like that, that's incredible. And we're trying.
Feel that it's a simple way to live too. Just kind of give and you get back, and
it really is.
And you don't have to give a lot. Just
do good things. Don't be so
things.
negative. There's so much negativity around and media. Spreads it.
Yep.
But you always get those one feel-good stories, right? And they make you feel good. And that washes out all the bad in my mind. So just kind of keep going with that, the broken strings. And
Well, that's kind of the premise of Talk Fort Dodge is you hear so much negative, and we've had offers to kind of do other stuff with this. And I'm like, no, we don't want to. We want this to be something when you type in YouTube, once again, click subscribe, ring that bell, whatever, because every time we do this, we're trying to bring positive things to Fort Dodge, Webster County, this region, because when you type it in, when you go to the news, when you do all this stuff, you don't always hear that. But there are so many great people and so many great things that happen here that this was our way of getting that out to the whole world.
It really is. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't get to play here very often anymore because I'm always on the road and I'm going other places. But when I do, it's always home. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm from Manson, but
they let you out of the crater eventually.
Yeah, I got to climb my way out. But Fort Dodge, Fort Dodge is home. I mean, we spend our weekends here. And I love coming back to Fort Dodge because, like I said, one, the music scene is incredible. Two, it really is a good place to be and to live and to do things. And there are a lot of things to do in this town.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just got to go out and get them, right? Yeah, the weather sucks sometimes. I get it. Yeah, you're right. It does. I don't like it.
It's January in Iowa.
It's January in Iowa, right. But, here we are.
But that's the other great thing is we have all 4 seasons.
We do.
How many, there's not a lot of places that can say that. Mm-hmm. We can
sometimes
sled,
all in the same
we
day.
can own a boat.
Yeah.
And do both.
That is the absolute, yeah. I mean, that's the truth. You can snowmobile, which sometimes we don't get enough snow anymore to really do anything anymore, but,
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while, it seems like we get a good storm. But I love the thunderstorms during the springtime, right? And the sunsets in the fall. Mm-hmm. I mean, Iowa's a beautiful place. It really is.
It really is. People just, you get all 4 seasons though.
I don't think we want to tell the rest of the country how beautiful it really is.
It's funny because we're driving home and, Denver and the mountains and all that.
Yeah.
And everyone talks about how beautiful it is and everything. We pull in Iowa and it's like, Iowa's pretty beautiful too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other thing you don't want to tell them, I'm going to ruin the best kept secrets here, is you can be anywhere in town in 7 minutes.
Literally.
You can,
Literally.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're near a school, it's a little tough, but 8 and 3. But
if you say it's going to take you 15 minutes to get to my house, I'm going to be like, where in the hell are you?
Yeah, you're in that Manson.
What are you doing?
It takes me about 20 minutes to get from Manson over to here downtown, right? Here I am.
Yeah.
Stop and grocery shop.
Yep. And the people here are just amazing.
They are.
Everywhere you go, you meet just such great people. And they're honestly proud of where we're from and what we do. I mean, you see the 6 negative people put it all over Facebook. The other 24,993 are like, no, this is a great place.
Positivity.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere from the bike trails to, to the music scene to Fort Frenzy. I mean, look what this to Harlan Rogers Park.
Yeah.
To the Olson Park band shell. I mean, that's kind of a cool. Fort Dodge has got a lot.
Yeah, people just don't realize, and we're trying to. And Mark Campbell was on here and said we need to celebrate our wins more often and broadcast them because people don't see it.
I agree.
So that's what we're doing.
That's what we're trying to do here.
It's awesome too. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing. And supporting.
Yep.
You're supporting local businesses and local musicians and everything Fort Dodge, and that's kind of a cool treat, and that's your guys' giving back, and that's pretty impressive.
We'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you being here today, talking about Broken Strings, the live music scene, and everything going on. So
thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Yep.
Like, share, ring the bells.
Ring that bell.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
That's a wrap at today's episode of Talk Fort Dodge.
Stay connected with us on social media and join us next time as we continue exploring Fort Dodge's stories through the lens of 2 lifelong Dodgers. I'm Jeremiahjcondon.
And I'm Todd McCubbin, and this is Talk Fort Dodge.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.